Hi, my name is Kaylee Cutt, and I will be showing you around my website titled The Impact of E-commerce. To start off, it is important for you to understand how this website was made possible. Both cPanel and Khan Academy acted as essential resources. We began on cPanel with a blank slate and slowly but surely incorporated HTML and CSS. We began here on the index page by adding the doc type HTML5. This is shown here at the top. We then added things like the characters, which came up as UTF-8 charset meta tag, which you can see here. From there, I followed various tutorials which explained to me the essential tags needed to incorporate in my page so that necessary aspects such as headlines and titles would become a part of the overall look. Next, we learned how to incorporate CSS. This enabled me to further enhance my page. We created an external style sheet by creating an additional file on cPanel. This style sheet allowed us to create a uniform look to our web page. For example, I was able to assign how I wanted each of my H2 headings to look or each of my paragraphs to look by formatting each particular piece according to its assigned tag and allowing the style sheet to apply it throughout. As you can see here, an example is with my H3 headings. I styled it in my style sheet in CSS format for the text to be colored black, the font family to be Courier New monospace, and the text to align center. By doing so, this applied this throughout my whole website. By being successful both in the CSS and the HTML, I was able to view my work as it appeared by typing in my domain name with the appropriate extension. Some key visuals to my website were my logo, banner, and animation. These key elements were made possible through the use of Pixlr. To create a logo, I utilized skills I learned on Pixlr, such as a transparent background. After choosing an appropriate image with a transparent background, I was able to place the logo within my banner, with the banner acting as the background to the logo. When creating my banner, the main focus was on creating an image with appropriate pixels. I then utilized the option of layers, which helped me to incorporate the various different pieces, such as my name and my logo, and the main image into my banner, and have them appropriately meshed together. I then created my animation through the use of EasyGIF.com. This simple website allowed me to incorporate 3 images of my choosing, adapting the delay time, choosing a continual loop setting, and appropriately sizing my images for a visually appealing animation. As you can see on my homepage, my animation cycles continuously the whole time you're on this page. The images are proportionate and circle at the same amount of seconds. On my other pages, we're able to see the banner which I created. The logo here shows the transparent image letting my banner shine through. It also shows how I was able to incorporate the text below my logo as well as the text above. We will now talk about the content of my website. As you know, the title of the website is The Impact of E-commerce. E-commerce is also known as electronic commerce and is defined as the trading or facilitation of trading in products or services using computer networks such as the internet. To most people, this means online shopping. However, it can also mean the use of personal businesses online and much more. Overall, e-commerce has many advantages, such as allowing for price comparison, allowing for increased convenience, the ability to overcome geographical boundaries as computer networks spread much further than stores have the ability to. And hand in hand come the downfalls. Although few and far between, we do have to keep in mind the issue of privacy and security that come with the use of the internet. First, we will look at the purpose page on my website. Part A reads, indicate the name of the innovation and provide a clear description of its intended purpose, such as the problem that the innovation solved, the opportunity that the innovation created, or the discovery that the innovation made possible. First and foremost, one of the main problems that the innovation solved was the restrictions of geographical locations. Because the internet spreads globally, businesses are no longer limited to physical locations. This means that wherever the internet spreads, their business now has the ability to do so. As far as opportunities that the innovation has created, electronic commerce has created many. First and foremost, individuals now have the opportunity to start self-led businesses much easier. They no longer have to worry about the money or the location, but simply being able to set up a website to sell their product, which in most cases can be free. Next, we will look at my effects and impacts page. Part B asks to explain a benefit and/or a harmful effect of the innovation. One of the benefits that I found most prominent was the aspect of increased convenience. Shopping can be very stressful and time-consuming. Electronic commerce takes away much of this time and stress. Now what may have taken hours to complete in a shopping trip can be done in the comfort of our own home behind a computer with the simple click of a mouse. Next, we will look at Part C, explaining the impact that the innovation has had on society, economy, and/or culture. I found that e-commerce has impacted all three of these. First, e-commerce impacts society by taking away a lot of the human interaction that occurs in everyday life. While we no longer have to interact with the salesperson, interact with the cashier, just to purchase a shirt or the good that we went to the store for. Next, when we look at economy, we find that e-commerce has helped the business world a great deal. With geographical boundaries overcome, the ability to compete with prices, and the ability to offer much more products than ever before, we see the economy being boosted through the use of electronic commerce. Next, we look at Part D. Indicate one field other than computer science which this innovation has impacted or has the potential to impact. As mentioned before, online shopping is a large part of how people see electronic commerce. And essentially, this is what it is. Therefore, I found that one field that has been impacted greatly is the retail world. Just as we had mentioned, retailers are now not confined to the physical limits of a store. They're able to expand the amount of products which they offer, as websites can handle much, much more. While on my effects and impacts page, there are a few things I would like to point out. First and foremost is my graph. Right here on the left side of the page, we see my graph titled The Average Impact of E-Commerce on the Life versus Age. My graph shows the impact of e-commerce throughout all ages. As we can see, it is widely distributed around ages 20 to 70 years of age. This data was collected through the use of Google Forms. I created a brief survey with brief questions based on electronic commerce and the data I wish to collect in regards to my topic. I shared this survey with various friends and family and with members of my class, as well as by sharing the link on my Google site. Over the course of the few weeks, I was able to generate a great deal of responses which gave me a better understanding of my topic, this being one of them. Next, we will take a look at my video.
Kylie, how do you feel that e-commerce impacts us? Well, I think that it impacts us in a very beneficial way, both for the consumer and the provider. Because I personally love online shopping, I do it all the time, and then I can see how it makes the clothing industry some more money as well, because it's just another way to generate more of their products. So it's very beneficial.
I recorded this video with my iPhone. From there, I utilized YouTube Video Editor to put the clips together, rid the clips of unnecessary footage by using the ability to cut, and then added background music. I was then able to publish the finished footage onto my page by pressing Create. Now we will look at my technical aspects page. He asked to describe how a user interacts with the innovation. Depending on who the user is, the interaction will be different. First and foremost, for a consumer, As we mentioned, electronic commerce is typically utilized in the form of retail websites. This means that in order to access goods or to purchase goods, a consumer would go on the internet and type in a website which they wish to purchase from. There they would find their product and complete a purchase. In the case of a business, they may be using a computer networking or the internet to deal with the other side of things. This means receiving purchase orders, working with shipping, tracking inventory, and more. F asks us to describe in detail how the innovations technology incorporates at least one of the big ideas of abstraction, algorithm, programming, and or the internet to accomplish its purpose. I focused on how the technology incorporates the internet. The internet is a large part of electronic commerce and is what makes it all possible. It is the electronic channels which allow for the data exchange between purchases, consumers, and businesses that make electronic commerce what it is today. Next, we will look at relationship to data. G asks us to describe how the innovation consumes data as input and produces data as output and or transforms data. In the case of e-commerce, we look towards electronic data exchange, or EDI. This is defined as the electronic communication method that provides standards for exchanging data via any electronic means. EDI sets up a standard which allows those, such as the buyers or the consumers, when purchasing, to send documents. Now we will look at relationship to data. Part G asks us to describe how the innovation consumes data as input, produces data as output, and or transforms data. In the case of electronic commerce, we look towards electronic data exchange. EDI provides us with a standard. This standard allows us to format the documents being sent back and forth between consumers and buyers so that each document can be read successfully once it reaches its recipient. These documents could be things such as purchase orders, shipping information, and more. Without EDI, we would not be able to successfully read the information being sent back and forth and would not be able to complete the transactions being made. Next, we look at H. Describe at least one data storage concern, data privacy concern, or data security concern related to the innovation. In this case, we are looking more towards the case of data privacy concern or data security concern. This is such an issue with electronic commerce because we are no longer using cash to pay for things. In order to complete a purchase online, our credit card is almost always necessary. This means not only disclosing our credit card information, but also disclosing our shipping and billing information so that the good can get to where it needs to go properly. Although the internet has become much more secure over time, there is still the issue of data breaches, which means that our information always has the chance to end up in the wrong hands. Lastly, we will look at the reference page. These are three of the main references that I use to complete my page. The one that I found the most helpful and to have the most information was reference number 3. This was found on aboutmoney.com and was titled 36 Advantages and Disadvantages of E-Commerce. I found this really touched upon many aspects of e-commerce that are often overlooked. It gave me a great background and really helped for me to build my page. For more information, visit the link provided.